What's up, guys and gals? Welcome back to the Nerd Castle. Today in the world of indie games, we're going to be playing around with a title called Second Son. I've been playing around with it for about an hour prior to the recording of this video, and I think this game is actually kind of inside of an interesting niche. If you took something like Diablo and you mixed it with like the open world vibes of something like Just Cause, but without like blowing things up and the massive destruction that goes along, maybe a little bit of that energy of something like Destiny or Outriders, and then you just made the game on like a teensy tiny budget doing the best that you can, that would basically be exactly what Second Son is. In Second Son, you are much like the characters from Destiny. You are someone that's been kissed by the sun, which is randomly being taken over by like a dark moon, causing demons to spawn everywhere else. And as a result of this interaction, your character has ridiculously powerful abilities that allow you to blow up demons by the dozen. Along the way, you're going to be stacking all kinds of loot, exploring the world map, and generally just making your character stronger as you level up and get new perks. And I figured today we'll take a look at the game for about 30 minutes. We'll see if it's something you wanted to add to your wish list, or if it's one of those games that's just not for you. If after watching this you did indeed want to get Second Son for yourself, apparently the music doesn't loop right now. It got very quiet in here and I felt like something, I don't know dude, something sinister was about to happen. Why is it so quiet in here right now? The music doesn't loop. Like I said, teensy tiny budget, but if after watching this you wanted to get Second Son for yourself, it's not an early access. The game is completely and totally done on its release day, so that's something that it's got going for it. I've got a link for you down below in the description where you can check out the game. On top of that, you can also take a look down there and find a bunch of other Nerdcastle links just in case you wanted to give them the old spicy click. But let's go ahead and play some Second Son, shall we? So here we are inside of our base camp. This is going to be the area where you craft gear, you sell stuff off, you buy new weapons, and generally just come back to recuperate and cook meals in between your open world adventures. If you're wondering what the world looks like, in about an hour, that's about as far as I've made it. There's all kinds of nodes and things for you to investigate, but for the moment, I've actually got a quest to move from this camp out to the first city inside of the game. So let's get after it. If you're wondering what customization looks like for this title, there it is. The game does not have a super pretty or super stylized art style, but you do ultimately get gear that will change around on your character. I just got these shoes right here that make me look like I come from the Munchkin Guild, but I'm rocking an assault rifle, I've got a magic staff, and I've got a double-barreled shotgun, break-action double-barreled shotgun for getting rid of demons. Apparently I picked up some gloves or something too while I was cruising. I'm just going to throw those on sight unseen without even looking at the stats. All of the gear in this game is procedurally generated and will have randomized affixes on it that allow you to create builds and sort of like get the performance out of your weapons that you would prefer to have. So you can specialize in guns, you can specialize in magic, and then of course on top of that, this load screen, there we go. And then on top of that, you've got a bunch of abilities that are listed at the bottom of the screen. I've got like a fireball that I can throw for right now because I decided to play as kind of like the gun mage class. I don't know, I don't normally play mages, but if you give a mage like a bunch of fat gats, I kind of like that idea, and so I wanted to play around with just that little trope. Let's go ahead and ventilate these demons over here. Yeah, dude, these demons, they don't deserve to draw breath any longer, although deep down I actually don't know if demons breathe. My knowledge of demon physiology, kind of super low. They didn't offer classes on that when I was in college. Murdered a rabbit because why not, dude? I was already cruising by and he gives me like cookable materials that I can use. I've also got an ability that allows me to drain my health in order to get my mana back, a la something like a warlock from World of Warcraft. I've got this thing right here, which is basically like a fist slam. It knocks everything backwards with the power of wind, and then I can make it rain meteors very briefly, so long as I have the mana to sustain those abilities. You can catch sight of my mana down below in the left-hand corner, and then of course my HP down there too. We've also been given a syringe that allows us to heal up if we're under attack. The syringes do drop a lot like health potions from mobs that you'll be murdering along the way. And then of course our close relationship with the sun has allowed us to gain the power to actually suck the energy out of demons after we murder them, giving us a little bit of recovery and a little bit of health back just in case we're feeling a little bit under the weather. I see demons over here. I don't know, dude. I kind of feel like the shotgun needs to come out to play. Let's go ahead and give it to him. Yep, you can catch that right there. Straight to the dump. Nope. No. You stop that right now. Get out of my face. I don't know what these floaty little orb things are over here, but they've been consistently spending their time trying to puke all over me. In the first hour of gameplay, enemy variety is a little bit limited, and honestly, the AI for most of the enemies could probably use a little bit more sophistication. Most of them either like circle you and throw projectiles at you, or they run straight at you and they try to melee. Occasionally they blow up or they detonate or something like that when you get them down to low health, but in general, there's only been like 4 enemy types that I've seen so far inside of the first hour. Can I get into this? Oh, I hear bad guys. All right, well, you can catch one of those right there, and then what are you doing? Oh, you're shooting fireballs at me. All right, let's light them up. A little bit too much visual recoil on this assault rifle, in my opinion. Could probably be eased back on ever so slightly, but most of the other guns seem to feel okay. Oh, my HP's like real low right now. Let me slam a little bit of these sci-fi drugs real fast to make myself feel better. Then I'm gonna go loot this peasant's house because, like, I'm the hero of the story, and that means I'm allowed to do that. No one can stop me. What does that have right there? Pyrite, tainted shards, some ammo, and some Rubicons. Okay, the game is chock-a-block. Like, once we actually get ourselves into a dungeon and we start throwing down with actual hordes of enemies, you will be able to see that, like, this game is a loot explosion. It really, really, really likes giving the player loot. And so you're going to see lots and lots of shiny things all over the place once we actually get ourselves... What is that right there? Is that a dungeon? Let's go do a dungeon real fast, man. I could use some upgrades. What is this place right here? Can I go into it? An abandoned cave. Hell yeah. The map does have all kinds of points of interest. And I think what this game does really, really well is actually it doesn't handhold you or like tie you to a narrative anything or really. It just kind of expects you to wander around, uncover stuff, and make your character more powerful. There is a storyline running in the background, but it's kind of like nonsensical, and honestly, it's kind of like just go over there and do this thing and then return to me once you get finished off with that. But that does leave you with a tremendous amount of freedom to just kind of like explore the map on your own. What's up with this over here? We're probably gonna need it. We need a shade key. All right, well, I cast shade on that lock because that lock's a little asshole for not letting me get to my treasure. That's a checkpoint. They're gonna pop up every now and again. You can also fast travel in between them just in case you're trying to get from point A to point B a little bit more speedily. I saw somebody run by the door over there, and it looks like we've got some kind of death spider things running up on us. You can have a fireball. All of you can have fireballs. Every last one of you. Oh, there's spiders everywhere. Okay, yep, not in love with what's happening right here. Detonate them with a little bit of fire. Most of the attacks in this game do actually feel very, very responsive. At first, I felt like the movement speed of my character was like a little bit too high and gave the game kind of like a cheap feeling. But once you get used to how fast the enemies move, you start to see that there's like a reason why your character is so speedy. Get out of here, spider. Oh, I just leveled up too. That means I get to show you a little preview of the skill tree. So far, the skill tree hasn't been like incredibly impressive, but there is like a nice balance of active abilities versus like passive abilities that you can slot into little slots, I suppose. As you level up, you unlock more and more slots for putting in passives, and I'm guessing that's where your build's really gonna come to. It's a dead end? Man, procedural generation. These dungeons right here, I think they're repeatable. Like when I went through a dungeon a little bit ago, I think there was a pop-up that was like, yeah, dude, every time you go into a dungeon, it just like procedurally generates a new one. So have fun with that. Run it as many times as you want and stack fat loot. Got him right there. All right. What's going on with this room? Oh, there is another little path over on that side. So far, there's not really that many decorations or anything inside of the dungeon. That's something that I feel like they could definitely do better on. Giving the dungeon a little bit more theming, making the dungeon feel a little bit more lived in, making it feel a little bit more dark and creepy and memorable. But for right now, they're just kind of set pieces for you to mulch mobs and annihilate them non-stop. I don't know if oh, there's one behind me too. All right, got that one. He dropped blue loot, so that's good. Loot gets picked up automatically when you run over the top of it. Right there, we just got a gun mod or like an armor mod. Every now and again, you'll find something that has gem slots on it, and you can put those into it in order to accentuate its stats, make it work a little bit better in the direction that you're trying to go. A little bit more pyrite. All right, well, I got a lot of fool's gold, if nothing else. I think for this room, we're probably going to need the shotgun. Yup. We got him in nice close quarters right now, and that's where this buckshot's going to play. Unfortunately, the shotgun has, like, no ammo due to the fact that it's a dub, and so, like, with the shotgun, I always find that I end up running for my life once I have to reload. Probably if I could slap a couple reload mods on it, or maybe like a much more ammo mod on it, that would also be good. I would like to see a little bit more gore, in all honesty. Like, there are little blood chunkies and stuff that fly all over the place, but the lack of decals, like, so on the ground, like little textures that get splashed on the walls from exit wounds or on the ground or whatever, the little chunkies, they look kind of out of place without that stuff being in there, and it stood out to my eye while I was playing through the game. You get got right there. Good stuff. How many more of you are there? I'm just gonna like do that over there and just like collapse the tunnel with meteors. Makes me feel safer. You can go to sleep right this second. At the bottom of these dungeons, there's gonna be a thing called an archangel or an archangel. It's basically like a boss. It's a big tough critter that takes a while to put down but usually drops rad ass loot. And so that's like the reason why you come down in here. One particular high point for this game is that I think this game may have the best sound effect for picking up coins that I've heard in a video game in a very, very long time. The sound effect that they chose for picking up coins, that should be like the holotype example for all game developers. Oh, that was just a rat. I saw a health bar, dude. I saw a health bar, and it made me feel a little bit jumpy, like something was gonna go wrong. I didn't know if it was invisible, and I just like briefly detected it. I didn't know if it was gonna try to like grab me or maybe diddle me or something. Dude, it needed to go, all right? That rat unfortunately moved in a very threatening manner. Where's that last one at? Catch. Oh, he dodged it, dude. A little bit. Oh, God. Okay. Yep, that guy just ran up on me. There is no ADS in this game, so if you have like a fundamental problem with games where you're hip firing the entire time or point firing the entire time, may not be the game for you. I, too, am one of those people that very much prefer to be able to ADS, but unfortunately not implemented inside of this game because your right click is used entirely for casting whatever your secondary spell is. What are you guys doing over? Yeah, you guys just get rained on with fire. I'm gonna go back to my assault rifle real quick. So far, I have been very, very happy with the sound effects that they selected for the guns. Not all the guns feel great, but all of the guns sound really, really, really good as you're going through this title. And so that's gonna be another particular bright point where the game sort of like has it locked in. Like, this is how guns should sound in games. They should sound like they launch high velocity projectiles that are slamming into enemies and crashing out the other side of them as you're bequeathing death on all these demons over here on behalf of God or the sun, or I don't know who we're doing it on behalf of, frankly. I think we're just like sick and coming down. I'm not even positive that these are demons, to be fair. These may just be some kind of sentient ant people that we're crashing down into their colony and murdering their entire society. I don't know. Ammo is incredibly plentiful in this game. I can tell you 100% that I have never once run out of ammo while cruising through all of these dungeons. The enemies just drop so many boxes of it that you basically perpetually exist on maximum ammo. I want to check this corridor over here. Let's see if there's anything over on this side that might be good for us, because it looks like this cuts south a little ways, and there's so few opportunities in this game to get very, very high density enemy stacks that'll give you, okay, we got like a revolver, we got, what is that right there? Ether? Oh, I'm already full up on ether. Ether are the injectors that you use in order to heal your character. I do need iridium or something like that. Like, I think I have a quest. So in this game, you do get randomized quests. So there's a guy that just gives you randomized quests, like a la something you would get in an MMO like New World. Like, go out and harvest this many of this many herb, or go out and harvest this many minerals and bring them back to me. On top of that, there are side quests and storyline quests and things of that nature that are a little bit more important. So like you can tell down here, I've already cleared out a camp. I've only killed one archpriest so far. I haven't rescued any prisoners because I actually haven't seen that objective anywhere on the map. Looks like I need to get a few more iridium nodes, and it wants me to cleanse a dark shrine. I don't know if the game pauses while you're inside of that menu right there. I haven't like suicided my character real fast to figure it out over the course of play, but I haven't been punished either for being inside the menu. Let me take a look at our loot over on this side. Let's go with, I'm gonna stop looting common loot, and I'm only gonna loot uncommon and above, but I do very much like the fact that even the most basic iteration of this game's 1.0 already has a loot filter inside of it. That's one of those things for anything Diablo inspired, you really, really, really want to have loot filters in there by default, especially if lots of stuff is dropping. It's just kind of like, What I would like to see is actually anything below this threshold just gets auto-dismantled when you walk over the top of it, but I haven't tested that yet, so like, maybe that's actually how it works. We do have some new boots over here. They increase my frost resistance. I'll take that. My weapons reload 7% faster. Never mind, we're gonna use that. As far as belts go, I've got one right here that increases my HP by 4%, which doesn't really sound like that much until you realize I have 700 HP, so that's like 30 extra HP. It definitely adds up a little bit given the percentile nature of the number. All of my guns are a little bit outdated, and I don't know what I want to equip right now. A Lombardo shotgun. That one looks like a pomp, and so I'm gonna go ahead and equip the pomp real fast and throw that onto my character. I've also got a necklace that'll boost up my HP a little bit further too, which I am a fan of. We've got these gloves down here that are like absolute machines. I think we're about solid right there, so I'll probably just queue everything else up to be dismantled, because the parts that you get out of these guns, they allow you to customize your armor and your weapons a little bit further by upgrading the rarity or by being able to like add slots and things to them. And so I feel like having a large amount of just crafting materials would be a good idea. Don't break that axe right there. We have a melee weapon, but like, I swear to God, I've never used melee once in this game. There's no need to do so from what I've seen so far. Like, you have so much ammo and so much gun that like, never really needed to break it out. Oh yeah, I like that. It only has 2 shots though, dude. There's another level. I was hoping it would have like 6 inside the tube. I don't know. We got one of those California legal shotguns. The most unfunnest kind of shotguns. More iridium. Definitely take that. Is that a shrine? This altar has been built in honor of the Emperor. Yeah, I'll pray at it. You feel a blessed. Aw, yeah. What does my blessing do? Can I see what it does? I can't see what my blessing does, but I'm gonna guess that it makes me hit a lot harder, or at least put more rounds down range or something. Lombardo the hell is that thing? Okay, that's new. Never seen one of him before. Oh, he dropped epics though, dude. A fortified epic shotgun. Hell yeah. How many rounds does it have? I've got to open this menu up. It hits quite a bit harder. It looks like it steals health. It causes frosted on hit, so you can be like somebody's hair tips in the 90s. It comes with more damage, it comes with more durability, and it also gives you mana back every single time you fire it. So yeah, dude, this guy is kind of a bad customer right here. Go ahead and equip that real fast. New fortified shotgun, ready to rock. Let me grab that iridium so that I can get my quest done on the way out of here. What am I looking at here? Nothing down. I heard something. Get on my face. You don't know me like that. A fortified helmet. Oh. Were you hiding behind a pillar? Just like waiting for me to show up? I don't see anything else down in here that looks like a threat. We gotta be getting close to like the Archdemon's lair down here. Like, we've gotta be close. Oh, we got a long corridor over here. Let's see what happens. Magic staff didn't pull anything. I was hoping that making a little bit of ruckus might. Maybe the blessing is giving me an increased loot rate, dude. That's kind of what it feels like right now, because thus far, I have not gotten that many epic items. I've been getting mostly grays and greens this entire time. And like, dude. We seem to be getting a lot of blues and stuff down here. I don't know if it's just due to the fact that the enemy's higher level or what, but either way, throw it all inside my inventory. The gloves of life. I got new gloves. Are they Gucci? What are they? That Fendi? That Prada? Like, what am I looking at? Right? Is something on me? What am I taking damage from? Something damaged me, dude. My screen is like doing like a flashy thing right now. Maybe it's just me picking up all the random ether that's off the ground. All right, grab all those. Don't come into this hallway. This is not your hallway. This is my hallway. I lay claim to it. I need to figure out how I get these shade keys, dude. Maybe I buy them back in town, or maybe I get them as a reward from quests so that we get like challenge rooms. There are challenge rooms and things, by the way, in this game. You will occasionally find sort of like doom doors. It's like a door that requires you to do some kind of challenge, typically fighting off endless waves of enemies in very, very large number. And then it opens up and there's usually like a treasure room back behind it, which is fairly entertaining. I'm a big fan of like large hordes of enemies that I get to mulch with 5.56, and so anytime a game gives me that opportunity, I'm with it, and I'm about it. We're probably about due for a level up right now, too. I haven't been paying attention to my HP or anything else this entire time. Ow. Ow. So much pain. There we go. Just detonate the whole world. Yep, that knee right there, that's the knee that I wanted to shoot. That wasn't inaccuracy. That was the definition of precision. I didn't want you to die. I wanted you to just lose your sports career. I know about that scholarship that you got from the University of Kansas. I know. They wanted you to come play for the team, man. You had your sights on the NFL. Not anymore. That's what happens when you cross me. I'm in this game for maximum emotional damage. Are you dead yet? Please be dead. Thank you. I appreciate you for being dead. Let's go ahead and level up real quick. So this is my skill tree. It's not very large right now. I don't know if it continues going out past here or what, or if this is just the size of it. I have no clue. I don't know if this expands in size as you get larger. For right now, it's pretty small. I was working on more damage for assault rifles, handguns, and shotguns, and I also wanted to max out. We have 3 skill points right now. I like this idea of a vampiric aura, but we can only get it at level 8, so next level we can grab that. Let's just upgrade our passive twice, and then I'll probably upgrade... Is there like a lightning storm that I can get down in here? I love lightning magic, man. If I can't have lightning magic, though, I'll go with the fire magic. I'm gonna make my meteor storm a little bit more devastating. You can break pots, by the way. They have money inside of them. So this game does cross that off the list where, like, I don't think you should ever have, like, an action RPG where there's not some kind of destroyable something that I can do. Oh, it didn't pick that? Yeah. So, a suggestion, just a little quality of life thing. If the player has their loot filter set above a certain threshold, everything beneath that threshold should still get looted, but it should just get auto-disenchanted or auto-destroyed or auto-salvaged. That would be a very, very nice feature to save the player a whole mess of clicks as they're going through these dungeons. See on me right there? I saw red blink on the radar for just a second. All right, give me my shotgun back. There's not that many of them down here. There's another floor down here? Okay. I guess we're going down another floor. They even had a guard. Hello? 'Tis I, Splattercat, inside your dungeon. Any loot to be had inside of here? As the hero of the story, I feel like I deserve that loot way more than you do. I feel like it's owed to me. Like, why else do we go on quests except to get fat loot? These ones are taking quite a bit more damage, in all honesty. Like, these guys are getting harder to take down. They were getting one-shotted up until this point, which makes me worry about what... He blew up a barrel that was behind me. So I guess enemies can detonate barrels. All right, fair enough. So it took me back to the first level of the cave when I died, and in fact, it re-procedurally generated the whole thing. That adds almost like a roguelike angle to it, where you've got to do the entire dungeon without dying, otherwise you fully get reset back to the beginning. The good news is we got a whole bunch of loot out of the exchange. We've got this helmet over here, which is pretty decent. The gloves probably don't live up to what we want them to live up to, but I wouldn't be against getting like a revolver and just swapping out my epic assault rifle. I don't think there's any reason not to do that. That right there gives me 32% more defense. I don't know if that's sum total or if it's on the item itself. It looks like it's just on the item itself, I think, is that it just gives you slightly more. This has 10% weapon damage on it. I'll definitely take that. That sounds all right. I can get down on that. Equip that axe, too. How do I attack with my melee? I don't know. Let's go back out to the open world. I got stuff that I got to accomplish anyways. My finger... Okay, yeah, that's got a nice feel to it. I can live with it. Let's go back outside to the open world and play around with that for a little bit. Back out into the open world it is. We've got a treasure chest over on this side, and I really want that. Let me grab that fruit right there, too. You guys don't want it? You guys don't want it? I love how fast this thing reloads. This revolver is a slapper, dude. I was expecting it to be kind of like a hand cannon. Wow, the explosive radius on those barrels. That actually... Oh, we got a cultist up here. Cultists are kind of dangerous because they have all the same abilities that you do, like magic spells, guns, all that kind of stuff, except that they work for the second sun that's like covering up our current sun right now. On the plus side, they are very catastrophically dead, and we stole their treasure chest, so let me Can I not have that treasure chest? Is it like already looted? It might already be looted. What's up with this skull and crossbows down here? The game does a decent job with that, where you like see a new icon. You're like, what the hell is this? Let me go look. What's up with you guys? Oh, it's the guys that are on my team. All right, can I, Vasco. Looking to hire one of my mercenaries? These knuckleheads might not look like much, but they'll save your skin every time. Sure, we're playing around with systems. Give me a mercenary. If a mercenary dies, there's no refund. Just visit me and I'll get you a new one. Okay, do I get to like equip him or anything? That'd be super sick if you got to equip him and he could get like his own little abilities, sort of like the little buddies from Diablo 3 or Diablo 4. I'd be down for that, like his own little tiny level up tree, even if it's just like one path. We are being heavily shot at right now. Or is that my mercenary? Oh, my mercenary's over here just like unloading mayhem on the enemy. All right, well apparently his aggro radius is fairly impressive. He sees enemies from way off. I need that for a quest. Give me that. All right, let's continue heading on out. And I'm just gonna head towards my main quest goal. There's a guy over here that he disco fevered so hard that they gave him his own statue. The missing scout, eh? Oh Christ. I thought that was people shooting at me. Yo, this mercenary's kind of dope, dude. This mercenary's out here for scalps. He's like really applying himself today. I don't know if he ate his Wheaties or what, but this mercenary, he's getting it. I wasn't expecting him to be that effective of a companion. A codex scroll, huh? I think that just unlocks like a lore entry. It would be cool if you could break the fronts off. Ooh, ammo, nice. It would be cool if you could break the fronts off the buildings in order to go inside as well. A little bit more interactivity to the game world. Who's this guy? Looks like the Sentinel Scout Colonel Tyro was talking about. Judging by the pool of blood next to him, his death wasn't swift. All right, he's got a big old missive on him right here. Looks like he's scouting cultists for the military that we're a part of and ultimately got himself gadded on up. So tends to be the fate of poor scouts. Let's grab, what is this thing right here? Send items to your stash. Oh, there's like a spot where you can auto send stuff to your stash. Nice. Where's this guy at? Oh, there he is. Got him. Oh, he got him too. Damn, dude. Okay, I feel like I've got like an actual honest dyed-in-the-wool homie with me right now. I can reasonably well assume that if I've got to fire in one direction, he's going to fire in the other direction and actually like cover my weakness. That's pretty sick. Give me the treasure chest. What you got? Superior boots? Okay. I don't know if the game uses level scaling. It sort of seems like everything else levels up as I level up, but I would be like super hesitant to say that that's the case. But this right here was Second Son, which we did our first impressions of. As of right now, I'm sitting at around like 2 hours of gameplay, which I always think is a really good spot to do first impressions. And it's an open world RPG that I think actually does a much better job at being fun than it should. Like if there was one sentence that kept coming back to my mind while I was playing around with this game, and it's better than the sum of its parts, because almost everything here is incredibly simple or limited in its implementation. Like there are some downright wonky jank elements to this title that would make it fit right in with a crowd of Piranha Bytes style RPGs that were releasing roughly during like the Xbox 360 era. It has myriad problems, and yet none of them really slow down its momentum or fun levels. Like as an example, the entire game is under contrasted and a little dim, just straight off the rip. It feels like whoever did just the balancing of the alpha levels, the gamma levels, the lightness levels, all that kind of stuff, they left it like catastrophically under contrasted, which was one of those things that really bothered my eye, and there's not really any way to fix that inside of the game. I'm gonna try to fix it in post when I take it into an editor because I can do that, but I don't know how successful it's gonna be because it's so under contrasted. The game uses way too much visual recoil for a lot of the assault rifles. Enemy AI is incredibly simple and suffers from pathfinding issues. Very frequently, you can get trapped inside buildings behind your mercenaries. Instant deaths are all over the place. Movement doesn't have as much weight or heft as I would like. The character customization thus far is very straightforward, no frills. Dungeons are a simple affair that could use a lot more personality, and the art style, if you can call it that, isn't really anything to write home about, and I could continue to go on. In fact, I did when I was doing my outro thoughts, but I figured this is the spot where I'll drop a big old capital letters however. The game seems to have caught on to the essence of what makes a title fun. The sense of exploration in the overworld, while largely limited to repeating points of interest and activities, is also squirrel-holed with all kinds of treasure spots, enemy packs, things to fight, and has a charming presentation that makes you want to find out what's around that mountain over there. What's that statue? What's that zeppelin that's flying in the sky? I'm gonna go over there. The loot is plentiful. I've had a blast just sifting through all the random pieces of equipment and graphical styles that will drop when you're mulching through enormous hordes of demons. Your allies in this game are actually useful. They're not just little turds that add like 10% damage to your overall DPS. No, dude, these are NPCs that hit just as hard as you do, and that means it really incentivizes having like one or two of them with you before you dive down into a cave, murder hole, or dungeon. The gear is upgradable, it's customizable, you can put gems inside of it. That allows you to really amp up the aspects of the game that you like, whether it be the magic, the melee, or the gunplay. And honestly, the thing that I really liked about this game was the sound design and the feel of the weapons that exist inside of it. I don't think I've played with a single weapon so far that didn't at least feel like 6 to 7 out of 10. Like there's a bunch of different guns and firearms in this game, and they've all felt pretty good to me while playing around with them. And so this ended up for me being one of those really weird titles that still ends up being pretty simple, enjoyable, and exploratory fun despite all of the little low-budget problems that crop up from time to time. And most importantly, none of those problems really ended up derailing my enjoyment of the simple pastime of killing enemies and getting enormous stacks of fat loot. I'd say that if you can score this game for like a 30% discount, like if you get this game at like 10 bucks, it is one of those odd games that manages to be punchy fun despite its limitations. And that's actually kind of a rarity. Most of the things that are wrong with this game are the kind of things that drag down other games, and yet it's still managed to be fun. I think it's worth a look if you enjoy first-person shooter Diablo-style action RPGs with a very real wonky jank element to them. My name is Splattercat. I sift through the pile to find what's worthwhile in the world of indie games every single day so that you don't have to. Today up on the chopping block, we were fooling around with a game called Second Son. Tomorrow we'll be playing around with something else. I'll see y'all later. Thanks for hanging out, and that's all I got for you, folks.